Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Good Leader Podcast. Yesterday, I had a bad day. I'm fired up about it. I want to talk about it. This is going to be my therapy session because I had a bad day, and something happened. Something happened at my house, to my house, that has never happened before in my entire life. And I have owned about 16 houses in my 41 years of living.
A lot of homes.
I know, and I'm not even I'm not a real estate investor. Well, okay.
Just move a lot.
We have lived like 17 different places. I'd have to count it up. We haven't owned that many houses. That's a misconception. We have lived that many places if you count abodes, apartments. We got married in college. We've been married 20 years. We got married in college and lived in married housing our first year, and then it was an apartment, and then we bought a house. And I think we went 6 houses?
Wow.
6 houses in 20 years, I think. That's not a stretch. That's true. Lived like 16 different places, renting and live. I know. We're just very fickle people.
I thought I had moved a lot. In the past 8 years, I've moved 7 times.
That's pretty good.
But
That's about
a
the same
lot.
pace, though.
I was about to say, you're on the same pace as them.
Yeah.
Getting there.
Well, I just figured, you know what? We are one of these days going to have our forever home, our dream home. So you got to try places out. So we're trying things out. You know, do you like living here? What kind of place you want to live?
Yeah.
So we tried them out. I'm already having a better day. Look, right here, Lemuel, you're on the pod. We're having a better day already. Yesterday was a terrible day for me. Have you guys ever had a bad day? Are you the type of people, maybe, are you this type or do you know this type that won't admit you've had a bad day?
I am very much that type.
You are that type?
I'm kind of like, just hold it in, keep it in.
I kind of knew it.
I trick myself.
Yep, I kind of. Do you really, though? Do you really?
I try to.
You try. I appreciate the honesty.
Today, I am not tricking myself. I have had a bad day.
Today?
Today.
Oh, wow. Do you want to? Hey,
And you're still
step up
here.
to the mic.
I'll
Step up
tell
to the mic.
just a little bit.
Okay.
But we have a 2-year-old, soon to be 3-year-old, and she has
Oh,
thrown,
that's a hard
Tantrum
age,
time.
honestly.
Terrible
thrown
twos.
probably her worst tantrum she's ever thrown today.
I have a strict no fit policy in our household.
We thought we did.
Strict.
And for some reason, we couldn't get her to stop throwing it.
Really?
So
Yep.
I'm
we've
going to
been
have
there.
to do some soul searching tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what?
We've
That
been
can
there.
happen. That can happen. Bad days happen all the way around. You know, we'll save it for another pod. But one time, Adelaide, our oldest, went through this stretch, and we could not deal with. We were dealing with it for months, and it was some medication she was on.
Yep.
It was crazy.
You know, I remember
we'll
you telling
save
me
that for
that.
another day. But it was the
Yeah.
truth. I'll save that for another pod. But it was crazy.
She did
Yep.
have a sucker today that was red, so I don't know if it's that red 40.
Lem,
Hey,
I'm telling you.
might be that.
Okay.
It might be it.
When
might
our
be.
2-year-old had red Gatorade, I've never seen him. I thought it was like, I'm like, all right, people are being, what's the difference between like red Gatorade, blue Gatorade? There was something in the red. Like he is strictly
Really?
prohibited. He's had blue Gatorade before. But he drank
Blue's the
this
best
red.
anyway.
It is, honestly,
Blue is
who
the
wants
best.
to drink
I
the
don't-
red?
After you've had blue, don't do anything else.
He wasn't.
Yeah.
He wasn't in his right mind. He doesn't know. We just gave it to
Especially,
him.
they're still selling lemon lime Gatorade.
Yeah,
Who's
it's
buying
gr-
that?
I don't know.
That's the original. Who's doing that?
I don't know. I
Sorry.
don't know.
Back to the red
But
40.
but I don't know what it is. All I know is he's had every other Gatorade. Well, other Gatorades, no problem. The red one, and I've even noticed red candy. Man, it's like I lose him. He just like goes in this other like world,
Hey.
and he's wild.
I do believe it. I used to be the type that would poo-poo that kind of stuff. Seriously. Like, I'd be like, okay.
I believe that about you.
All right, yeah. The red 40 is your parenting problem?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do a little more critical
It's not all of
evaluation of oneself, shall we? But after the experience, Adelaide was about 5 and went through that medication thing. It was crazy because as soon as we took her off, it changed. But today, we're not talking about that. We'll table that. We'll do a parenting episode or 700. This is not about parenting, but it is about having a bad day, and some things beyond our control happen. Sometimes it might be our children, it might be our coworkers, it might be life or whatever, an act of God. Things are happening around us that influence our lives that are outside of our control. And what do you do when you have a bad day? So the impetus of this episode is going to be, what do you do when you have a bad day? I'm doing some self-evaluation because I have found myself not handling bad days that well. Now, I will say, I think your general attitude dictates your day at a baseline. Like, if I wake up saying I'm going to have a good day, chances are I'm probably going to have a better day. But there are some days, it's like John, what his little mantra with Liam, it was good. Like, hey, what's school about? We're going to learn today.
Yes.
We're going to learn. What
Yep.
else are we going to do? We're going to have fun. Isn't that
Yeah.
it? We're going to learn.
Yeah.
We're going to have fun. Let's learn and have fun.
Something
Let's learn
like
and have
that.
fun.
Yeah.
Don't you remember? Come on, Mom.
I do. I remember now that
I
you're
don't
saying.
think
I
it's
was
the
like,
red 40,
Does John does John have a mantra?
Well,
He's not the positive person really in our relationship. So when you went to him, I was like, really? What does he do? But you're right. With Liam, he
It was
does.
good.
He's done that.
And
Yep.
I love that. That kind of attitude to me is about 90% of the battle.
Yep.
Are you waking up saying, this is going to be a good day? I'm going for it. But then there are some times life just happens. You know what I'm saying? Like, stuff happens, you know? It's a G-rated podcast. We don't carry the E. So stuff happens. And what do you do when stuff happens? That's what I'm going to end with. And I'd love your feedback. You can tell me, Jared, you're off your rocker. This is how I deal with it. And I think some people who are out there, especially if you're out there, you're trying to be a good leader, you're trying to take responsibility for your life. You don't blame others. It's like, oh, I've had this bad day. I feel like sometimes we're high achievers. It could be worse because I'm not expecting it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, if I'm Eeyore walking around, like, well, this is how you live life. I don't live life like this.
Yeah.
This is highly unusual for me. So this is a catastrophic day for me. You know, what's happening?
Yeah, it's like decent days, catastrophic.
Yeah, it's like, wow. It's like, well, Jared, it's not that bad. And I'm like, well, I'm used to rolling sevens over here. Come on. All right. So here we go. Yesterday, I wake up in the morning feeling like PD. Life's good, just like I do. I roll out of bed. I go, it's raining, pouring down here in northeastern Oklahoma. I'm sure you experienced similar weather.
Yeah.
And it's really raining at the Murr Ranch. It's raining. It's lightning, thunder. It's happening. And, you know, fun fact, I don't know if you do this, but if you go up in Oklahoma, you probably know this. When you see the lightning strike, start counting 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. And then when you hear the thunder, that's how far away the storm is. Okay.
How many miles? Right?
How many miles away? That's right. Approximately. It's okay. You know, so we do that all the time. Man, it is upon us. The storm is upon us. You know, I see the lightning. I pretty much hear the thunder. Wow. We are in the heart of the storm. But we're getting ready for our day. And our typical MO is I get up, make the coffee. And as we're drinking our coffee, we are typically low effort breakfast people. Peanut butter and toast is the number one go-to. I eat it almost every day. So we're throwing in a couple pieces of bread, making the toast, and we're going for it. And the kids are around, and we're all kind of getting ready. And I'm got my cup of coffee, and Jen's got hers, and we're both standing by the refrigerator, and you know, getting ready for the day, half awake, half asleep, doing this. And I said, you know, hey babe, would you reach in that refrigerator and get me the creamer, please? Because I'm a French vanilla guy.
Oh.
She is an Italian cream girl. And so we have our 2 distinct creamers. She's already got hers out. But I said, hey, and we were probably about the same distance from the refrigerator, but she had the better angle. You know, like our island is there. And so I could have reached for it, but then I would have had to maneuver around her.
Sure.
So she had the better angle. Hey, babe, would you mind grabbing the creamer out of the fridge for me there? And, you know, she looks at me kind of like half eye roll, but like, yeah, okay. So she reaches for it, and as she reaches for the creamer, she opens up the fridge. We got a stainless steel refrigerator, and as she does that, we hear lightning strike, boom, right as the moment that she is grabbing the refrigerator, and we hear, if you've ever heard like a transformer pop, that very loud sound.
Yeah.
It's pretty distinct. Kind of sounds like a gunshot or a super loud balloon, but an actual. So we heard the lightning and the pop all about the same time as she's reaching for the fridge. And it just shocks her. Psh, boom. And my wife is pretty tough. She doesn't really complain about anything, and she immediately is in pain. Like, so think of this. Just, you know, crack, pop, bow, ow. I mean, she is, ow. And I mean, she is like grabbing her arm. Like, I can tell, like, whoa, man, something happened. And she says, oh my goodness, that really hurt. And she's got like tears welling up her eyes. She is tough. And this is really happening. And of course, our girls are like freaking out, like, oh no. And then she was like, I just got shocked. Oh, my arm. And she's looking at me, and I can only think of one thing. Whoa, close call. That was almost me. Close call. Close call.
Better you than me, Jen. You're tougher.
Good thing I didn't go for the creamer, am I right? It was close. It was a close call, because I would not have handled it nearly as well as she did. So she got. I don't know if we could technically say she got struck by lightning. I think that's a stretch. But lightning struck the house. Close call for me, but I made it. I'm safe. Don't worry, all you loyal listeners. Your boy's fine. I didn't get electrocuted. And so Jen got shocked, and she said, yeah, I saw it like exit my foot. Like she saw a spark come out her foot.
Wow.
So like she touched the fridge. It happened. It had to be like a 1 in a billion chance that she touched the fridge at the exact moment. So our house got hit by lightning, and who knows what's going on. So everybody's freaking out. You know, the girls are freaking out. Jen's in pain. I'm looking around like, oh man, that was loud. You know, things are beeping, you know, our power, it's like, okay, what happened? And it's a fairly new house. So I'm like, oh great, is the house gonna burn down? So I'm running around checking things out. Okay, I think everything's fine. Everything seems to be okay. And so we go about our day. Jen, to make sure, she calls the electrician that was one of our contractors, and so he's going to come just to check it out and make sure that nothing crazy is going to happen. So I needed to meet him at the house so that he can go through it. Okay, no problem. But this is the continuation of my bad day. First off, it started off as a really good day. I dodged a bullet by not getting shot. So that started off great. Thank the Lord. One of us has been praying. But then it's a bad day because Jen gets shocked. Okay, this is stuff. Now I've got to change my day. I got to go back home. I'm at home. Go home. There it is. And as I get there, I'm like, well, I can work from home. No internet. I'm like, dadgummit, I bet the lightning messed it up. I go upstairs. I check out the modem and the, I don't know, it's fiber optic. Lim, you probably know what it is, but I don't know. The little black box, the little black internet box. And I'm like, wow, this thing, no lights whatsoever. I unplug it, plug it back in, no lights. I'm going to spare the audience and you my entire day. But let's just say 45 minutes later, after speaking to the young lady, convincing her that I knew how to unplug and plug something back in, that it's still not working. I've done everything you've asked me to do, ma'am. And I'm walking her through it. She finally, at the end of that, says, oh, I think you're right. I think it's not working. It's like, okay, yes. And she was like, well, no problem. We can send someone out. In the next few hours, someone will call you to set up an appointment.
Yeah.
Anyway, one of those days on. So now I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
That.
So now I've been accepted into this 10,000 small business owners cohort, which is really cool. Put on my Goldman Sachs. That's actually good. We'll save that for another episode. But it's like a college class, so I got to do all this stuff, and I've got an assignment that's due, and I can't get on the internet. I'm trying to use my hotspot. Everything's crazy. Everything's going nuts, and I'm like, this day is awful. This day has just become like nothing is going as planned. So my bad days are this. Nothing is going as planned. I feel completely helpless. I feel completely unproductive. That actually is probably the best definition of a bad day for me, when I feel so unproductive.
You can't get anything done.
I've gotten nothing done today.
That is Jared's MO. Sure. Yeah, I was about to say he's that achiever.
I was
You're
dying.
Get me talking about string finders.
I was dying.
Yeah.
Well, what's a bad day for y'all? I mean, okay, hold on. Can we preface to the audience so that I'm not just this workaholic,
No,
Enneagram 3 over here. Yes. I'm not talking about, there's another category of you lose a loved one. There's a natural disaster.
Sure.
That's a different category. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying like, yes, the day my grandma died was worse than yesterday.
Sure.
Okay, everybody? I've got a heart. I'm not the Tin Man over here.
Yeah.
But I'm just talking about your average run-of-the-mill, what was your Wednesday like? Pretty crappy Wednesday. Pretty crappy Wednesday.
Well, for someone like you.
And it was because I'm unproductive. I can't get anything done. This is frustrating.
It's so funny though, because that's your bad day.
I know. I'm interested.
That is every single day for me. I just live off the wow, I wonder what's about to happen next. I wonder who's coming in my office next. Like, who knows what's going to happen here? And it's interesting because this assessment, strength finders, not familiar with it, but adaptability is a strength on that assessment, and it's my number 3rd.
Okay.
And if I remember correctly, it's your last one.
It's pretty low.
If it's not your last, it's
pretty low.
very
I do
close
remember
to the
it being
bottom.
low. Yeah.
And at first, because I didn't know a lot about the strengths then.
Me neither.
And so I was like, Jared's a pretty adaptable individual. I mean, you can fly the seat of your pants.
I'm going to be honest. When I read the strengths finder, I was like, are all 36 of these going to be in my top? How's this going to work? That's what I thought. That was my first impression.
So strong.
He also has achiever
You're so
pretty
strong.
high.
That was my first impression. Like, wow, is it possible?
Yeah.
Are they just going to say tied for
Yeah,
number
that
one?
shows.
Okay,
That
keep going.
shows.
Just kidding. But yeah, adaptability is low.
But it actually is. It's because if you're higher in adaptability, you can ebb and flow with how and when things will get done. Like, you're okay with that control element, not as much there. You want to activate and achieve things.
Oh, I do.
And those are literally your top 2, 3, 5, whatever. And so for someone like you, that is just a horrible day. For someone like me, when all I have to do is do stuff, like I just have to sit there and do this financial report and then fill out these, all these just little monotonous detail things. To me, that's like that's not a fun day. That sucks.
Interesting.
You'd rather have things happen.
I would rather I guess, the adaptability kind of strength lives with what problem do I have to solve right now? Like, just right now, and that problem is there. It's just right in front of me. Just going to deal with it right now. It's fine because in my mind, I'm getting things done. Like, that's my version of getting things done. When I'm just doing stuff, I'm like, well, I did stuff, but it wasn't purposeful, Like, I don't need to check stuff off my list. I'm still trying to figure out where I put my list of my things. But it doesn't like, I'm not excited when I check stuff off a list. I'm like, oh yeah, I got it done. Normally I forget to check it off the list.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest.
I'm very much like you. When I wake
Oh,
up,
yeah.
I've got my sights set on things that have to get done.
Yeah.
And whenever I have all these roadblocks, I feel the exact same way.
Well, and for me, it's my definition, and everyone has a different definition of this, but it's the definition of meaningful work. And to me, I'm like,
Right.
I did no meaningful work
Right.
today
It was all
to
urgent.
speak of. It was all urgent. It was
Yeah.
all reactionary. It was all like, well, yes. And so in the end of the day, was I productive in the sense that like, well, the internet got fixed yesterday. You took
Yep.
care of that. Yeah, I took care of it. Well, the your house didn't burn down. You took care of that. Yeah, I took care of it. I took care of things. Sure.
I didn't
But
get anything done.
I'm a high achiever. Like, yeah. I mean, yes, I also fed the chickens and the donkeys, but that's every day.
Yeah.
So
Right.
who cares? So, okay, now you're really blowing my mind. That's a good thought. We need to. Well, we're gonna have a whole StrengthsFinder episode coming up.
Yeah.
For everybody who's listening,
It's the
and
only way I
watching.
can. It's the only way I can hear things now. Literally.
While the rest of us are slaving away at Paradigm Shift working, Anj took a vacation in Washington D.C. To go make some new friends and hang out at Gallup, and probably got offered a job. Should I leave? Honestly, 2 podcasts from now, when we're talking about Anj no longer being here, she's like, "Actually, I'm working for Gallup now."
That's not true.
It's funny.
But no, in all seriousness, you tell the folks at home 30 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
What was it? It was a StrengthsFinder
Yeah.
certification, right?
Yeah. So the organization Gallup, they originally have own the assessment, the Clifton Strength Finders, and so it's basically a list of 34 strengths. You take an assessment, and they map them out for you. The goal is to help people strengthen their strengths by doing what they do well, rather than improve a weakness. So for them, their goal is to take the assessment and pair it with coaching. And so they do a week-long intensive of you learning really all the strengths, and then how to pair that with coaching questions and all of those things as well to bring others through it. So there's a lot of steps with it. You have to do like the 5-day course, and then you have to do a 2-hour certification test. Then you have to coach for like 10 hours. So there's more steps to it than just that. But that was, yeah.
And all jokes aside, StrengthsFinders has long been, for 10 years, I've loved the assessment. And it's one of my favorites of all. I've probably taken 20 assessments over
We
the
love
years.
assessments,
I
right?
love
Yeah.
assessments.
Yeah.
And in our line of work, leadership development, you're always paying attention, and different groups want different things like DISC or Enneagram conversations, all sorts of stuff. Myers-Briggs is probably the most commonly used one, I would say, or at least up there. Anyway, StrengthsFinders, though, is great. It was the one that even in my novice understanding really helped me the most, or helped me change my perception.
Yeah.
So Anj, in what we do with leadership training and development at Paradigm Shift, is continuing to expand our offerings through this, and it's really, really incredible. So I would like to look at it through this lens, or just like to at a future podcast talk about that, and go through my strengths, your strengths, and figure out where we land. But you're reshaping this. So when I've got these 3 things, but now you're making me think, yeah, these things work for me, but they're not going to work for everybody, especially somebody who might feel completely productive in a day like that. So I guess the first thing out of this conversation is, man, when you have a bad day, this is why introspection is important. This is why knowing yourself is important, because the first one is know yourself. Know what makes you feel productive. What is making you feel like you're having this bad day? What makes a bad day for someone is not the same as another. Is that when you know yourself, that's how you navigate those bad days. Now, I know that's a very broad thing, but even in this conversation, it's like, wow, that is super enlightening to think that bad days don't exist. Our relationship with the day exists.
Sure.
What
Yeah.
was just a day? What was your relationship with this day like? And if you're consistently having bad days, then it's really worth evaluating. And if you are every once in a while having a bad day, but it really gets you down, that's worth evaluating. I would say everybody's going to have bad days every once in a while. So for me, I learned yesterday. For me, and once again, now I'm looking at this through, I'm speaking, I guess, to the people that, high achievers maybe, people who are like Lim and me. I'm an Enneagram 3. I am a, ENFJ all the way. One of those.
Oh, we're very similar. I'm a 3, and I'm an INFJ.
I bet you're quieter than me. Yeah. You're the quiet
INFJ.
version. You're the quiet version, I'm the loud. You're the quiet world changer, I'm the loud world changer.
Yeah.
You're the quiet guilt bearer, I'm the loud guilt bearer.
Uh-huh.
So, but for me, I had to, and I think this is good. I think this is a good thought for everybody. It kind of goes along with know yourself, but for me, it's call it out. This was my step. Call it out. And I guess by knowing yourself, it's kind of reshaping the expectations today. Call it out. Like about midway through the day yesterday, I was like, all right, boom. And I was by myself in my house, but I said these words out loud. I was like, okay, today is different. Like it is just, Jared, not going to go as planned. So deal with it. This is it. This is the bad, like, because for me, I keep trying to hold on to the plan sometimes, like, okay, that really stunk, but if I hurry up through here, then I can go over here and I can do this and I can fix this and I'll be back on track by 12:30.
That's a good point. It makes the day continue to be bad.
Exactly. There you go, buddy. It does. So then I'm like, okay, so just let it go. About noon yesterday, I went, you know what? It's over.
Ain't gonna happen.
I'm going to have to walk around. It ain't going to happen. I had to walk around with Mickey the electrician for half an hour around the house. That was not on my agenda. Didn't enjoy it. You know, and I like just about everybody. But Mickey and I, we were oil and water.
Yeah.
And so we're walking around the house, and I was just like, you know what? This is it. This is the caricature of my day. So I decided, you know what? I'm just going to have to call it out. Just completely call it out. After that, it helped me reframe and reshape my day. Okay? So then this is the second point, and I think you'll like this one too, Lim. Okay. This is just for Lim. Yeah, Lim, this is for you. Anj doesn't have bad days. She's getting her day done no matter what.
My tastes
She's
are different.
so adaptable that whatever. Oh, you don't have the adaptable strength? Oh, that's too bad.
Wasn't
So,
that wasn't at all.
but for the rest of us humans over here, I called it out. And honestly, that one alone, it makes me feel so good, Lim, that you liked it.
Yeah.
Because it really did help me. I was like, okay. So then my next thing is I just said, what is the absolute need today? What is the absolute need? There are lots of things I want to do. There are lots of things that are going to make me feel good about today or whatever. And I really only had one thing. For the Goldman Sachs obligation, I had to have a Zoom at 1 o'clock with my peer partner. And that's what I had to do. Like, I absolutely have to do this. Great. Most days, especially if you live in an environment or work in an environment where many professionals reside, where you do have some flexibility over your day. Because even if you don't, you can take the day off. Mm-hmm. And even if you're saying, like, well, I just punch the clock and do what I'm told. Well, okay, you might have already taken the day off. So you might just say, you know what, today's the day. I'm out. I'm taking the day off and I'm not going to worry about work. For us, it's a re-navigating and saying, like, what do I absolutely need to do today? And many days, it's not as much as you feel. Mm-hmm. It's not as much as you feel. It's like, okay, here's what I absolutely have to get done today. And then tomorrow will be better. And then the third point then is my final point is whatever then is going on after I've reframed it and reshaped it, I just go all in on that new day. Which for me then, all in on the new day meant tedious tasks that I'm not excited about, that I'm not happy about. So I started like cleaning stuff around my house. I did the Zoom call that I had to do, but then I didn't try to go back to the office. I didn't try to get anything. I was like, okay, I'm going to wait for this internet guy. And while the internet guy is coming here, I'm going to shuffle through some emails. I'm going to clean this thing. I'm going to, fix this broken piece of the dishwasher. And that was my day. So that's where it is. That's where I'm landing. If you have a bad day out there, unless you have adaptability in your top 5, I guess next time when we talk about Gal Strengths Finders, figure out which strengths. No, I'm just kidding. The truth is, even with strengths, I don't want to give Strengths Finders a bad name here because no matter what strengths you have, you're going to have bad days. Mm-hmm. So I like this reshaping. I like this reframing. But, okay, close this out here. Closing thoughts on, I know that today I was just ranting. My house did get struck by lightning. Yep. I really did dodge a bullet. It was a close one. Big love and shout out to my wife. She's tougher than me anyway. She got shocked and I didn't. But we made it. The house is fine. Update, the house is fine. My wife is feeling better. All is well. But, yeah, if you have a bad day. So, Lim, you like it? You have a bad day?
I'm going to take that nugget just to stop holding on to the day I thought I was going to have and try to recognize the day earlier.
Ooh, I like that.
It sounds kind of deep, but I don't think it needs to be super deep.
Ooh, I like that. Oh, I like recognize the day. Yeah. I like that. That's good. Like
recognize the day earlier.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's good. Andrea.
Can't relate to you on anything, but I thought that I think this will be very applicable for the achievers out there. And I do have bad days. Like I said, don't mishear me. But my bad days, I think, just look different.
I'm curious. What even a bad day? What's a bad day for you? We might have to table this.
I'm not trying to be weird, but I can't think of it right now. I'm like, I definitely.
All right. So next time on the Good Leader podcast, we will bring some humans on as co-hosts, and we'll share the struggles, weaknesses, and needs of everyday folks like us, while the superhumans like Anj are just going around floating, wondering what the rest of us are doing. So until then, until you achieve superhuman status, go out there, do your best, and be a good leader.